Angry Guy here. And in this episode, I want to talk a little bit about how Steve Jobs stole fire and what that essentially teaches us today. So you might say, well, what the heck do you mean, Angry, by Steve Jobs stealing fire? In what way did he steal fire? Well, a lot of people may not know this, but Steve Jobs, and essentially Apple for that matter, never created anything. And when I say never created anything, I mean literally never created anything. The GPU, the graphical processing unit on basically every standard computer today, that didn't actually exist back in the old days. And then the graphical user interface, right? GUI, it's a big deal because with that, now you can actually click around on a screen. You can directly interact with things happening on the screen virtually instead of having to say, I want to watch a video. So you type the word open, King of Queens, I'm from New York, King of Queens, right? And video episode 1 and so forth. You guys who use DOS know what I'm talking about, all right? It made life a lot easier, or else you had to do everything using DOS. So you basically have to be a mini programmer. That's the honest truth. So the user experience changed a lot. And if you want to even understand a bit further, there's a game called Fallout. And Fallout 4, I think it was Fallout 4, they have these units, but they show us what these units look like and work like in a world where the graphical user interface was never invented. Now, Apple brought us the graphical user interface first, but the graphical user interface was stolen from Xerox. Xerox actually created it after decades of research, but they weren't doing anything with it. And Steve Jobs basically went in there and he stole it. And then after he stole it and popularized it and brought it to us, he then basically went on a warpath with Microsoft, claiming that Microsoft had stolen the concept of the graphical user interface that he, by the way, had stolen from Xerox, right? Yeah, it's some interesting stuff, man. It's some interesting stuff. Long story short, regarding that though, Microsoft took it and then they did it even better. And and then we had Linux, and then Microsoft went after Linux, which is funny because it's like the pot calling the kettle, it's like the kettle calling the pot black, however that saying goes, like what the heck. But anyway, that's the story of that. And the point I really want to emphasize is that nothing is really going to come for free and nothing is going to come easy at all right? And there are going to be times when you actually have to do things that, while you may not necessarily initially would see yourself doing, it means you have to push ahead and take chances, take risks, make mistakes, and don't allow fear to hold you back, okay? These are all extraordinarily fundamental things that you have to do if you want to be successful, if you want to grow and to thrive, okay? So sometimes, there's this whole thing like playing with fire. But if you want to make it somewhere, sometimes you have to do what others won't do. You have to be willing to touch fire itself. You have to be willing to touch fire itself. Don't forget that we have a new course, Making Massive Profit Off Cryptocurrency in a Global Recession. The course is out now, and you can get it for the early bird special price of $199. You can find a link to it in the description of the video. And this course usually goes for $1,000. So if you want to pick up the course, you can get it right now at the early bird price of $199. You can find a link to that in the description of the video, because right now we are heading into a global recession in these uncertain times. And, that's really that. So anyway, guys, what's going on? I mean, what do you think? How do you feel about what's happening around you? How are you preparing for for the global recession, that we're really rushing into. And what do you think about the concept of how Steve Jobs stole fire from the so-called titans and brought it down and gave it to us in the form of the graphical user interface? Anyway, let's talk more about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Love Jesus, get money, and be kind to each other. Later, Gators. Later, Gators. Later, Gators. Later, Gators. Later, Gators. I'm so kooky. I am so kooky. You know that?